course, we know the sequence of events that follows. The eye is still healthy. The eye is still fresh.
No, the
head's on the other side. The head is on the eye's still fresh. His eye is good there. That is after they break apart at that point. Then there's that jab, and we also showed you the other jab that was significant, that thudding jab. This is the jab that we believe causes the swelling that stops the fight. Watch it.
That's a thumb in the eye. That's a thumb in the eye. That's a thumb in the eye. And that's the reason why you saw the immediate swelling. That's what happens when you get thumbed in the eye. I've been in the business 23 years. It doesn't happen with a headbutt.
Let's stop right there. We're the Monday morning after the fight. It is 8:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, November the 16th, 2020. And this has to be the biggest controversy in boxing this year, especially when you look on the screen here, where we have referee Robert Byrd, who is the husband of Adelaide Byrd. Remember her controversial Vegas scorecards in the Canelo versus Golovkin fight. And then you have this man right here. This is Bob Bennett. I guess you can say he's the head of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. You see these monitors here. You see them watching the same replays that we were watching as fans. As you can see, I got it all here myself. We can go slow motion and everything, which we will do. How could they get this wrong? Now, if you want my personal opinion, what I've learned in life, especially as I've gotten older, people in positions of power, and some people may not like me saying this, but older people, older white men, don't like admitting when they're wrong. In this case, this is a fighter's career, his livelihood. Imagine how mentally affected he is. You can see it in the look on his face in his post-fight interview with Bernardo Osuna. On the phone, I got my colleague Big J from Australia, by the way. He got a chance to talk to Andrew. What was it, twice you got a chance to talk to him, Big J? No, actually, you talked to Jason. You talked to Jason and to Andrew.
Correct, yeah, Zoom calls, media calls.
Okay, first, even though the fight was only 2 rounds, before we get into, going back and slowing down everything and debunking all this crap, how did you feel about Andrew's performance overall, despite the fact that it was only 2 rounds?
Strong. Very, very strong. Very strong. He went out from the opening round, he dominated the fight, and Franco didn't know what fucking hit him, personally. So, Franco was, he was stunned by what happened to him. He got a big friggin', jab in the eye, but hey, shit happens. That's boxing. So, Franco didn't know what hit him.
So when you went back to watch the fight, did you see a headbutt? Like what? Like when you look at the cut, the swelling of the eye, did you see a headbutt?
Fuck no, I didn't see no headbutt. I watched it like 20 times. I didn't see no headbutt. I saw a graze on the left side of his face, but I didn't see no headbutt on his right eye.
A punch.
A stiff punch straight to the face, and then Andrew hit him about 20 other times. It's as simple. Andrew honed in on his eye, broke his eye socket, and punched the shit out of it. End of story. End of story. That's it.
So the question...
Sorry, go ahead.
So the question is, how did we see all of this, but them ringside with all this technology, the same technology I have in my home, and they have it better? How did they not see it? They making these phone calls. It took them 26 plus minutes. And who were they on the phone with? 26 minutes it took them. So what I'm doing now is I'm showing a replay here in slow motion, and you can clearly see it was the punch. Now, let's go back to the ESPN broadcast. Now, this is fair use. We're able to use this, because we are doing, a news reporting, breakdown, transformative. Here, let me play this.
Well, there wasn't a headbutt.
That won't happen. Even
Correct.
if you got a headbutt, you get a nick underneath the eye or something like that, but it doesn't swell immediately like that. I've been involved in many headbutts, and I've never seen that before.
Listen, folks, this is the difference between a no contest and Andrew Moloney being handed a WBA championship belt.
let me stop right there. And Timothy Bradley, in his past fights, was known for headbutting, ironically. So if anybody, fans are saying if anybody would know, it would be him.
Man, this kid, both of these guys have worked hard, but this young man, Moloney, trained his butt off, to retain his title, and to take it away from him like this is completely wrong. It's wrong.
Well, let's just see. Let's get the final call first. Let's see what the final call is going to be. I'm not sure how many phone calls they got to make to get that one right.
It's wrong.
That's what I'm confused about. We're not judging 6 rounds.
This is what you do. This is what you do. You go, okay, all right, make it happen, make the right call, and then you have a rematch. Then have a rematch. Do it a third time.
I have no problem with that.
One of the questions I had regarding what was just said in terms of if it is a thumb to the eye, because the gloves are now attached, it's considered a punch. It is not a foul. The headbutt would be a foul, but a thumb to the eye with now the thumb attached to the glove is considered a punch.
Yeah, it's a legal punch. It's a legal punch that would have scored then a TKO victory for Andrew Moloney to regain his belt.
So the question is, how did they get it wrong? It's no excuse you can make for that. Here, let's listen to Andrew in his post-fight interview first before we move on. I don't know how they got that wrong. I just can't understand it.
Oh, I have a theory.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh, I've got a theory.
Go ahead.
Right. Now, we in Australia are nothing new to this. Now, you've heard me talk about the NRL, right? The National Rugby League, Professional Rugby League here. We have something called the bunker, which is the third referee. It's been around for about 20-something years, right? It used to be run by actual referees or retired referees. Now it's this big computer bloody system thing that costs them $3 million a year that's run by some bloke who's probably never played a game of football in his fucking life, sits there with 10 different screens to look at every play that they do. If there's obstruction, if there's a try, they can look at every single angle of what's going on, and they still fuck it up half the time. These boxing officials bring up the NRL and go, how do we fuck up a call? We should bloody easily, get it right. I don't know how they possibly have done this. This is like
it doesn't make any sense. And then when you think that this is a good time to pull up this tweet from the promoter of Joshua Franco, Oscar De La Hoya, who says, wow, the production for ESPN is amazing, which it is. Let's go, baby. Terrence Crawford versus Carol Burke going down. By the way, in all fairness, I did not see a headbutt. Now, Robert Garcia, Jim, the son of Robert Garcia, from my understanding, put out a tweet basically thanking De La Hoya and Golden Boy for not sending nobody over to the top ranked fight in support of Joshua Franco. So it's just all crazy. It's just all crazy. Oscar De La Hoya keeping it real. Nobody saw a headbutt. Let's go back and what they're saying. So they're saying, here is a tweet from Kevin Iole, Yahoo Sports writer. He's well known covering UFC and boxing. This is what the tweet says. It's right here full screen. Let's go full screen. Got this photo late last night from Bob Bennett. That's the guy right there sitting next to Robert Byrd right here. He makes the calls for the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He said, I got this photo last night from Bob Bennett, the 102 mark of the first round. So basically with 102, the 102 mark with 208. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that first round at that 208 mark, and we're going to watch it. I'm rewinding back. In fact, this is a good time for us to do a jump cut. We're going to be right back. Please subscribe. Okay, so we are back. So here is an image late last night that Kevin Iole said he received from Bob Bennett, Nevada State Athletic Commission. 102 left in the first round. As you can see here on the screen, I have pulled up right here the 210 mark. So let's click play.
First fight, Franco threw a lot of power punches. He was willing to throw. He threw 449 power punches to Moloney's 295. He outlanded Moloney 231 to 191. 49 power punch work rate throughout this championship fight, because in that first fight, Franco threw a lot of power punches. He was.
Now, what I'm seeing is that headbutt, that alleged headbutt, it wasn't even on the eye. And it was so, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Now, for you YouTubers, for you're watching this, you can actually pause the video, mute the sound on this video that you're watching right now, and go to your YouTube settings, that little circle down there, the little gear, and you can slow it down yourself. I did that for a reason, so we're going to do it one more time, and I'm going to be silent. And I want you to slow it down. Pause the video, go down and slow your settings down to what is 0.25, and tell me if this was a headbutt that caused, that he's saying, that caused this. Right here. We're at the same mark. So let's begin. Let's go full screen. By the way, take your time out. Please subscribe and like the video. It doesn't take that long. It does us a big, great favor getting us up in the YouTube search algorithms. Please subscribe as well.
To confirm that I am the true champion.
We will monitor the work rate throughout this championship fight, because in that first fight, Franco threw a lot of power punches. He was willing to throw. He threw 449 power punches to Moloney's 295. He outlanded Moloney 200.
Now, Big J, now you said you watched the clip, right? Now, if there's that, it's no headbutt, bro. Not on the eye. Come on, man. And if it is, it's on the wrong side of, they're on the wrong side of the head. So I'm going to play it until they break.
31 to 191.
And it was no type of reaction or nothing. So let's go to the end of the round and look between, in the corner interaction. So when you were watching over, hold on. Like we would have seen some type of reaction from him if it was a headbutt on the eye. We've seen it all the time.
For the Australian.
So what I'm going to do.
That's what the commentators said. There's no reaction. There's no him protecting his face. There was no nothing.
Former belt holder trying to get the strike back.
So look, as we're watching him going back to the corner, he's not rubbing the eye, no nothing. He's not like, damn, he headbutted me. You know how they'll paw at it with the glove? No nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
No nothing.
Eye is shut, accidental headbutt.
Oh, eye is shut, accidental headbutt. Let's see.
Accidental headbutt. Franco.
Well, at least the ref maintained that the entire time. Give him that.
Bro, that was a jab.
Right on.
Bloody jab. Headbutt me ass.
Yes. Okay, you gotta watch your head inside, okay? And no holding.
So why are they bailing this referee out like this?
There he is. He slapped you inside with that little rabbit punches.
I'll make sure they're in front. Thank you.
Don't want to get egg on that face. Don't want to seem incompetent. I don't know.
I've an
What you said,
accidental
old men
headbutt.
don't want to admit that they're wrong sometimes. Who knows?
Well, see,
What
but
difference
see,
does
I
it
can
make?
see, like referees have to be responsible for so much. They have to have their eyes on everything at all times. They're going to make mistakes. But in
They're
this
human
case with the
bloody beings, Of course
replay,
they're going to make a mistake.
but in this case with the replay and in high definition when I'm watching, and in some people, I'm sitting here with my computer monitor. So some people, they're watching in 4K high definition, on 70-inch TVs and shit, where we're able to slow down and zoom in. You clearly see the glove, the thumb of the glove, do that aggravation for it to swell up like that. You don't see that type of swelling up from a headbutt, and let alone for it not to be a cut. Come on, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. And then replaying back the headbutt, it doesn't make sense. So the question is now, where, what happens next, and what happens with the third fight? This is one of those fights where there needs to be a third fight. And there's a lot more money in it now, for both fighters. But
Oh,
where do you do it? Does Andrew Moloney have to go over to the zone now on Joshua Franco's terms? But I don't think that they should go. I think that they need the money is with this fight. This fight can now be its own card because of the controversy.
And the only way they're going to do that is in Australia. They won't get a card in the States.
Well, get a crowd. They can get a card, but not a card with a crowd here in the States. I mean, you're right.
And they're not going to generate as much interest in the States as they will in Australia. This will be fucking huge in Australia.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge. I mean, history has repeated itself. Now, I've spoken more than once about arguably our best ever boxer, Jeff Fenech. Same thing happened to him 30 years ago when he fought Azuma Nelson in Vegas, #1. They screwed him out of the decision. They called it a fucking draw when he clearly won 8 rounds to 4.
Yeah.
And then the rematch happened in Australia. It was the biggest fight at the time. Unfortunately, Jeff got his ass kicked and his career sort of fell apart after that. But, this has just turned Australian boxing. We're just like, this is just Fenech Nelson all over again. Everyone in Australia's just lost their fucking minds over this. Is like, how the fuck does this happen again? It was bad enough the first time. It's even worse this time. Let me say this. I have a 91-year-old grandmother. If some little punk walked up to her in the East Street Mall in Rockhampton, which is my hometown, knocked her ass over tit and stole a handbag, it still wouldn't be as bad a robbery as what happened to Andrew Moloney yesterday. It was bloody 26 frigging minutes. What the fuck were they doing for 26 frigging minutes?
Hey, let's listen to what Bob Barum said. This is from Jean Settel. Let's fight out. He put this on Twitter. This is what Bob Barum had to say about the fight after the decision.
No, there was no headbutt. But instead they waited for the end of the fight, which they're still allowed to look, and they kept with it to protect the referee who didn't know what the hell he was doing.
And do you care to comment about the exchange you had with Bob Bennett ringside afterwards?
I'm just telling him I'm absolutely disgusted. I mean, people blame me because I'm the promoter. I got nothing to do with the goddamn thing. I just want a fair adjudication. They made a mistake. The referee made a mistake, and they have his back. It's clear. I mean, it's not even close.
What do you do going forward, Bob? This is where all your fights have been.
Get the fuck out of Vegas.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple
rightfully so. He's put a lot of money into the Maloneys. Remember, they've been, what is this? This is the third significant fight. I'm talking about, but since COVID. This is the
fourth if you count, because they both had 2 in Vegas.
True. Yeah, so it's been a lot of money put into them, and with what happened with Jason, where he clearly lost. Andrew really had a shot, and for him and for the system, and what you did, the system, to fail him like that, because as I said, they have the technology. How are we seeing it? How are the ESPN commentators seeing it? And how are fans all across the world, seeing that it was a jab? Thumb or not, it was a jab. The thumb is connected to the glove. Simple as that. What's the point, in beating the dead horse? But closing thoughts, though?
Just biggest fucking robbery since Fenech Nelson won.
This was incompetence.
It was incompetent, yeah. I mean, it was like watching the NRL.
Incompetence or corruption, would either or, because it's like, who are you protecting? A referee? Like, why you're sitting there watching this tape for all this time. Who are you on the phone with?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you protecting the ref? It doesn't matter if the ref fucks up. That's what you got the third referee for
None of this shit makes sense.
To smooth things over. That's the whole idea of the third referee. It's been around in many sports, cricket, football, union. I'm pretty sure there's other sports that picked up the referee thing. It's not new, but the whole idea of it is that if the on-field referee makes a decision that's wrong, they overturn it. That's what they got all the technology for.
And you had a lot of eyes on this fight. Anytime you have what is it? The female actress Helen Mirren. I forgot what movies I've seen her in, but older woman.
Helen Mirren. Wasn't she in Hobbs and Shaw playing the mother?
I don't remember, man. I think she was, but I know she was in a lot of movies. I know she's very famous. That's all I know. You have celebrities, LL Cool J. You know, people like that, if people still listen to watch his shit. The point is, it was a high-profile card, and to see, for casual boxing fan eyes, to see a disgrace like that happen, is like, why tune in anymore if some bullshit like that can happen? And then you wait a fucking half an hour to get it wrong? What? None of that shit. No, I'm upset talking about it.
Yeah, well, this is what is Australia. As I said, mate, Australian fans are sort of used to this because it happens nearly every week in the NRL. You know, they look at things 50 times from 20 different angles and still fuck up the decision. So Australian fans are sort of used to it, but this is a whole different level of mistake. Whole different level of just what the fuck happened? How did they
and
get
you know
it
what?
So
You know,
bloody wrong?
to get my closing thoughts on the video, I think that now this gives more credibility to the Wilder people, the Wilder, you know, radical fans saying that you can't even call them radical anymore, because if the Nevada State Athletic Commission can get this wrong, now people are going to look at the Wilder Fury thing like, well, how we know the water wasn't tainted? How we know the global wasn't fucked up? You see what I'm saying? It's just now, it just opens up a whole different can of worms. It's like, you know, because for you to get some shit like this wrong, what other shit could you have gotten wrong? You know? It's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy, and boxing needs to be extremely careful because this is a poison chalice if they don't use it properly. They've only used it once and they've completely fucked it. So what do they do from now? Because this sort of technology has slowly destroyed the game of the NRL, and most people would support me on that. People that, you know, have been watching it for 25 years. Boxing's going to go a very slippery slope if they don't get this right, because there's just no justification for half an hour and still making a complete dog's breakfast of it.
And then trying to find a red herring and a phantom headbutt.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, the only positive is that hopefully there's a very, very good chance of a third fight.
Yeah, I mean, well, the money's in it. They can't say the money's not in it.
Yeah, well, as you said, I mean, is Franco going to come out to Australia? You know, he bloody well should, because he ain't going to make any money in the States, or he's not going to have a crowd. I mean, you'd get 40, 50, 60,000 people into a stadium.
Yeah, and let's be and you know what? To be honest, let's not blame Joshua Franco.
Fuck no, I'm not blaming him for a second. No, you can't blame him.
Let's not blame Joshua Franco. And you know what? Before we end, I want to let's hear from let's see if we can hear from what Robert Garcia had to say.
He said no cut.
You know, before we end here, we're going to do one more jump cut. All right, for those who don't know, here's what Robert Garcia had to say. And a lot of fans, you know, rightfully so, are upset with him. But what did you expect for him to say? Like, boxing managers and promoters and trainers are going to, of course, say that their guy, you know, yeah, they're going to run with the narrative. It's always been like that. So, you know, I still like Robert Garcia. There's people saying that they're burning their Robert Garcia gym shirts and all that. It's like, you know, what did you expect? You know? So let's listen in. Once again, take your time out to please like the video. You can also follow me on Twitter at TstreeT for life. That's the number 4. And Big J at Old Mate Big J.
I know the frustration you're feeling right now because you should be, according to the original referee's decision, defending the belt. What's your perspective on what's happening right now?
Well, look, it's obvious, you know, they're pretty much trying to screw us because taking, you know, so long for 2 rounds that the kids fought, you know, the ref called it accidental headbutts. That's what it should be ruled. If not, then why do they even have a ref if somebody else is going to make the decision?
Now, did you see a significant headbutt in the fight, or was it the jabs that Moloney was landing that caused the damage?
It wasn't like any punch really solid landed, but there was a few headbutts in the first round. The kid told us, you know, he headbutted me a couple times. So, you know, all that could have been the case. You know, the bottom line is, you know, they never did the replay, the light for the replay, because they clearly tell us, if you see a light, that means we're going to go into replay. They never did. So why would they even go replay after the decision was made?
And in terms of the well-being of Joshua, how's his eye? How's he feeling?
Well, it's completely shut. You know, he can't see anything. It's completely shut. So, you know, the eye is shut. You know, so it's not like, no, he's feeling well. You know, it's just the eye is completely shut.
Now, in
Here's
in terms
the jab
of how
again.
this thing happened and how things will end, could we see a third fight? You think it would be right to give Moloney a third fight?
Well, nah, definitely. Whatever it is, definitely we could do a third fight, But Rick Morrigan already, he's already working on that because it's obvious that it's just not fair. They're taking, I don't even know how many minutes to review 2 rounds. They can't find anything. If they're trying to find something to take the title from us, then they're gonna find it. And
they're trying to actually find the headbutt.
No, well, look. Russell Mora, I'm not. He's inside. He's the one that said it was a few headbutts. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it was one hard headbutt that caused but then maybe 2 or 3, combined with maybe a thumb. You never know. I haven't seen the fight. I have to go back and see the fight. He was the one inside the ring. He's the one that knows what he's seen in there, and he said there was headbutts.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Robert Garcia said all of that to basically say, well, I'm going to go back and watch the fight. Did you hear that? Pretty much.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, there was a bit of Billy bullshit in there, and he was just covering his ass. But really, what do you expect him to say? He's trying to protect his fighter. He doesn't want his kid getting the title taken off him on a technicality and all this. From his side, from his point of view, I can see his point of view. He wasn't being a dick about it. He was just trying to, steer away from the fact that, really Joshua got punched in the face and it looked pretty bad. But, what do you expect him to say? Oh, yes, no, it was a legal punch and here's the belt. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, so all these people that are jumping on these thing and, saying, oh, he's full of shit and fuck off, leave Moloney. He was just protecting his fight. He was doing his job. If the situation was reversed, Angelo Hyder, who's Moloney's trainer, would have done exactly the same bloody thing. So
and that's the truth. That's the truth. But go ahead. What was you saying?
Leave Garcia alone.
All right. Well,
and let's hope Franco heals up well. I just want to say that. Best wishes to him. I talked to him. He's a nice kid. I've had a busted eye. It's fucking terrible. So I hope he heals up well and get ready for that third fight.
Yeah. Ain't nobody mad at him. It's just the system has failed Andrew Moloney. Simple as that. And
Franco, they both felt fucking
yeah, because I'm sure Franco didn't want to win like that. But all right, this is TstreeT Controversy and Big J with FightView360.com. As this story develops, we expect for them to take some time off, and sometime in the future, we'll hope to get Andrew, maybe his manager, and even Bob Arum on the line. It's TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please like the video and subscribe.